1051 CT Gates, WRUF FM HD2, and on the WRUF radio app. This program is paid for by Weeby Marketing. The godfather of Gator Sports Talk Radio has returned.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
It's Sports Scene with Steve Russell. Time to eat some lunch and talk some Gator sports.
Sports Scene with Steve Russell is fueled by Southeast Car Agency and brought to you in part by International Diamond Center, Domino's, Atlantic Roofing, Meldon Law, Los Linderos Tequila, Comfort Temp, Campus USA Credit Union, Pomodoro Cafe, Titan MRI and Imaging, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Miapa Latin Cafe, Radware, Fairlife Milk, Gator Trim Lights, Quality Plumbing, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, and the Head Beer Coach.
Now, here's Steve Russell, right here on WRUF.
Coming to you live from the Gator Trim Light Studio and fueled by Southeast Car Agency. Welcome into a Thursday edition of Sports Scene as you listen on WRUF. Charlie's our producer today. An abbreviated show like yesterday because Champ Week here. It's the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. Florida beating Mississippi State yesterday, taking on Oklahoma today. We'll get you out to that game as soon as it is about to start. We'll hear from Brittany Davis. She'll have the analysis of the game on the network. She'll be with us a little later on. But to start the show today, one of my favorite guests from the SEC Network joins us. You see him talking SEC hoops. His name is Ron Slay, and he joins us. Ron, welcome, man. Thanks for doing this again.
Appreciate it, man. Always good to come in here and talk with some defending champions, man.
Yeah, you know, I really thought Arkansas would challenge Florida a little bit. It didn't happen. So let me ask you this. Florida's the SEC champ, Ron. Who's the second best team in the SEC now?
Man, I honestly think it still is Arkansas.
Okay.
I think with the way that Florida is playing, man, you almost give a mulligan out. The way, especially if you play them in the swamp. It's one of those. All right, man, we understand what this is. We're going to grade this test on the curve right here. I can promise you. And they did it without Thomas Houck. So I think it's a testament to Todd Golden, how connected he has these guys playing, the roles that they've been able to fill and understand exactly what they need to do when they're coming in the game. It's second to none. But when you look at Arkansas, I think you have to lean to what Cal has put together, man, with Darius Acuff leading this bunch, guys kind of settling in the role, similar to what Florida is doing. DJ Wagner being able to understand that, man, I'm a greater asset coming off the bench. But it all hinges on a guy like Trevor Brazile. Him, Nick Pringle, and Malik Ewing, those guys tilt the scale for Arkansas because you know what you get from the guards. When you look at Acuff, when you look at Malik Thomas, Billy Richmond, Carter Knox when he's healthy, but you know what you get from these guys consistently night in and night out. The bigs are the question mark to how far they can go, and that's what you don't have with Florida. You got consistency across the board from the bench guys. You're even starting to adapt other guys. Ingram coming in. You got all these guys like it's trouble, man. It's trouble right now.
A lot of Florida fans are debating whether or not players should be rested because now Florida's clinched the SEC, even though they got to go to Kentucky. It's a big rivalry game. I don't see any reason to rest players, but you've played, you've been in situations like this. Would you rest players Saturday?
Nah, I wouldn't.
Good.
For the simple fact, you're still playing for something. I do think it's a tad bit different in the 1 seed and 2 seed. Yes, you're on the collision course to get to the Final Four, but outside of that, you have a more favorable path as far as going to the Final Four, and you're playing for that seed right now. So if you lose, you give it more recognition to UConn to be able to hold on to that 1 seed and kind of take care of it and go on and get that with no argument put up. So you're still playing for something. And then you also got to understand who Todd Golden is if you're a Florida fan. Like, this is a guy that lives, eats, and thrives on competitive
Yeah.
competitive ball. Like, this is what he needs. Like, this is his adrenaline rush. So why would you tell guys, all right, man, you know what, we'll rest y'all. We can get it done with the other guys. So you're now also allowing guys to understand that it's a switch that you can hit. So that means all of a sudden we want to get serious. Let's hit the switch and let's get rolling. No, you stay right where you are. You got a rest coming. After Saturday, you got a double back coming. You don't play till the next Friday. So that's plenty enough rest for guys that are in shape. 2 days resting feels like an eternity, trust me.
Man, amen. Ron Slay's preaching to the choir here. I'm 100% with you, man. Kentucky, really up and down year for them. That's Florida's last game. If, they're home, senior day, all of that stuff. But if Kentucky's got a chance here, Ron, what's got to go right for them?
Well, they got to take care of the ball, and they got to convert without letting Florida get their defense set. Well, you let those bigs get back and be able to defend the basket for a team that doesn't shoot great from the three-point line, you're in trouble because you got to go in there and get some baskets over some tall trees of your Florida. The other thing is do exactly what I just said that they can't do. They got to shoot the ball well. You need Otega Oweh when you're lacking off of them. You need them to knock down a few threes early so they can get the guys to suck up and he can be able to drive around them. You need Colin Chandler to be able to be who he is. Denzel Aberdeen, you know what you need him to be. And then you need somebody to come off the bench, and it can't be just you leaning on Malachi Moreno in the starting five to try to tangle with Handlogden and Chinyelu and Alex Condon if he shifts to the five. But you need guys like Brandon Garrison. All of these guys got to come to play, man. And I think when you start thinking about the consistency that they haven't played with because of guys being in and out of lineups, whatever it may be, then that's a tall task. And if it's anywhere that it could happen, it would be in Rupp. But this is you bringing your A game, and I'm not sure because we haven't seen their A game consistently throughout the 40-minute game if they can get that done.
Ron Slay joining us here from the SEC Network, talking SEC hoops. Okay, big wins for Georgia. Auburn got a big win. Missouri, I think, is in. Are those three teams in, do you think, now, Ron?
Yeah, I think Georgia's win over Alabama was humongous. Missouri's leading up to their loss, I thought kind of, solidified them. It wouldn't hurt for them to go on and get one more game now. Granted, it's against Arkansas, but Arkansas doesn't play good away from Bud Walton either, so they got an opportunity with that. If they can get that win, I think that solidifies them regardless of whatever happens. Who was the third team? It was Arkansas, Missouri.
No, it was Missouri, Georgia, Missouri. And Auburn got a big win.
And Auburn did. No, Auburn had a they had a lifeline win. Is what they had. That was more than a big win. That was somebody coming through saying we got an organ donor. You still alive, but walking into this game versus Alabama, man, it becomes even more vital that you go get this victory because I do believe you put a lot of pressure on a team when you start talking about rest going into the tournament. You got to play from Wednesday on for a team that doesn't have that type of depth. So you want to be able to put all your eggs in one basket, get this Bama win Wednesday when you play, and then hopefully Thursday you can sneak one in and get that. And I think then you'll be safe. But I don't think Bruce Pearl did any justice by putting more eyes on Auburn and everybody watching to see just exactly what they'll do.
Speaking of that, I'm going to end with this. If Ron Slay was on the committee and Miami of Ohio runs the table but gets beat in the final of a conference tournament, do you put him in the NCAA tournament?
Absolutely. I put him in just for the simple fact I value what you did in the regular season. I value what you've done up to this moment. Can you have a slip-up? Absolutely. Yours just happened to come in the conference tournament against somebody that's playing for all of the marbles, so they're playing with a little bit of more urgency than you are maybe. Maybe they get a little lucky, but I'm not going to fault you for losing one game in the conference tournament where anybody can get hot and make it in. That's a disservice to anything we got going on right here in college basketball.
Postseason's coming. Ron Slay, always appreciate your time. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
No doubt. Appreciate it, man. Let the madness begin. Florida Reptiles, go crazy, baby. Go crazy.
All right. Thank you. I love him, man. He's good. By the way, when Acuff was here, he was held to 19. Last night, played Texas. He was 8 of 15 from the floor, 28 points, 13 assists against Texas. He's now averaging 22 points and 6 assists a game. He's shooting 43% from beyond the arc. 43% from beyond the arc. His assist-to-turnover ratio is 3-1. He's a freshman, peeps. And, I mean, Florida did a great job on him because he really wasn't a factor in the game. But that's what Florida can do. That kid can play. And they neutralized him in the O'Connell Center. Brittany Davis is going to join us here. Kentucky and Georgia are playing the first game today at the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. Florida plays Oklahoma coming up. So quickly here, Mark says, I grew up playing basketball, very familiar with what does or doesn't constitute a travel. Maybe I'm crazy. It seems like Condon gets away with traveling quite often. Do you see the same? I'll be really honest, Mark, I haven't noticed that. I'm not saying you're not right. I just haven't noticed it. But I will take a closer look at that now. And don't forget, a lot going on this weekend. Gator baseball has High Point. Gator softball starts SEC play, hosting Missouri. Gator women's golf hosting the Gator Invitational this weekend as well. Tampa Mike on our International Diamond Center email. We're now living in the golden era. Tampa Mike, you stole my line. That was my line today, Mike. You're hurting. You're ouch. Ouch. Man, that ouch. Yeah, the bubble. He's the fastest coach at UF to 100 wins. Team continues to do 3 things. They can run. They're winning another national championship. That's how good this team is. Defense, rebound, and run. We'll take a break, come back. Brittany Davis will join us to talk about Florida's SEC tournament game today. You're listening to Sports Scene as we come to you live from the Gator Trim Light Studio, fueled by Southeast Car Agency on WRUF.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Mason Ozueta. The 12th-seeded Florida Gators women's basketball team takes on the 5th-seeded Oklahoma Sooners in today's SEC tournament second round. Coverage begins here on WRUF at 1:10 p.m. Last night, Gator baseball rallied from behind for a 7-5 win over the Florida A&M Rattlers. Manager Kevin O'Sullivan credited FAMU's performance in last night's game.
But I do want to...
For the first time ever in a public setting outside the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York City, 3 legends are coming to Gainesville. Join Steve Spurrier, Daniel Werfel, and Tim Tebow together with their Heisman trophies for the Legends Gala at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill on Monday, March 30th. Enjoy an unforgettable night of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of Isaiah 117 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of Gator.
Patios, barbecue decks, everything in orange and blue. Whether it's a back porch retrofit or a full custom landscape install, Gator Trim Light makes your home game day ready. Turn your patio into the ultimate victory zone and cheer your Gators on to a big win. Visit GatorTrimLight.com. That's GatorTrimLight.com. Gator Trim Light. Let there be Gator Light.
This year, flavor doesn't walk. It runs wild. At P.F. Chang's, we're charging into the year of the horse with bold new wok-fired dishes like pork belly bao buns and refreshing cocktails like the Midnight Gallop. P.F. Chang's beloved red envelope tradition returns, adding a surprise element to every visit during the Lunar New Year. Each guest receives a red envelope revealing a special offer redeemable on a future visit. Stop in now for their great lunch specials starting at just $13.99 at P.F. Chang's. Valid for dine-in only while supplies last. Details at pfchangs.com.
It's lunchtime and nobody does lunch like Pomodoro Cafe. From Italian dishes to subs and salads, and favorites like their Philly sub with fries, thinly sliced beef cooked to perfection and topped with peppers, onions and mushrooms, and provolone cheese on a baguette.
This is Steve Russell sharing with you one of my favorite lunch spots, Pomodoro Cafe, located in the Spring Hill Publix complex on 39th Avenue near I-75. Enjoy Pomodoro Cafe today.
And don't forget, they cater online at pomodorocafe.com.
Hey, have you ever talked to Ruse Agra over at State Farm?
Oh yeah, Ruse is awesome. Helped me get a ton of coverage for way less than I expected, and he serves all of North Florida. Super friendly too, actually takes time to explain everything.
Really? I thought State Farm would be pricey.
No, surprisingly great rates. You get that neighborly service you don't find everywhere. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I might give Ruse at State Farm a call.
You should. Call 352-240-1779 for a free quote. You'll be glad you did.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Craving real Cuban flavor? Come to Miapa Latin Cafe, where every bite brings you home. From our juicy roast chicken with yellow rice and black beans, our breakfast options to sweet plantains, empanadas, and our iconic Cuban cafecito, we've got what your taste buds are waiting for. And with 6 locations, there's sure to be one near you serving up warm hospitality and authentic breakfast, lunch, or dinner vibes whenever hunger strikes. So head over to Miapa Latin Cafe, the best Cuban food north of Miami. Visit miapalatincafe.com or stop by your nearest location today.
March Madness is coming to WRUF.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. Don't forget, in our limited time today, if you have any Facebook Live questions, they're courtesy of Ruse Agra State Farm, your go-to agent in Gainesville, North Central Florida for car, home, casualty, and life insurance. YouTube questions, Charlie gets them to me courtesy of Campus USA Credit Union, where Coach Spurrier does his banking, serving our community for 90 years. All of our guests on the Titan MRI Imaging phone line, locations in Gainesville and Lake City to serve you better, TitanMRI.com. They'll get you straightened out. And our email sponsor, International Diamond Center, they are the official jeweler of the Florida Gators. Quality Plumbing, sponsoring the first hour of the show. Relying on the same company Gainesville's trusted since 1984. Their name says it all. And all of our guests come to you courtesy of Meldon Law, the only injury law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Meldon Law won't back down. Well, the Florida women's basketball team got a win yesterday against Mississippi State, which means they play today. You'll hear the game live right here. They play a good team in Oklahoma. And a woman I had the pleasure of calling games with, I called her games. We called them together, and she's still calling Gator games here, along with Ryan Urquhart today. Brittany Davis joins us from Greenville at the site of the SEC tournament. Britt, how are you? Good to have you.
Good. Thanks for having me on. It's been great. I missed you, Steve.
Yeah, man. It's been a while. But
it has been.
But you're doing great.
I appreciate it.
Let me ask about this. Yesterday, Florida dominated Mississippi State. Let's just be honest about that. What did you see in the way Florida played? What did you like about the way the Gators played?
I like the mentality that they came in with early. They said, hey, we're going to dominate. We're going to set the tempo of this game. We're going to play Florida-style basketball, and then you're going to have to figure that out. And they came in and they attacked the paint, but also the three-point shot. Miara O'Neal knocked down some big threes early that I think gave a lot of confidence. And when she's knocking down from outside, it just opens up so much more for drives to the basket from guards, but also other post players to move inside because they've got to respect that three-point line when she's knocking them down like she is.
Florida has played better of late. What's caused that?
I think it's a confidence, and it's when you come together, it's accumulation of, hey, the season has gone on. We've had some ups and downs, but now towards the end, everything's kind of clicking, and that's what you want going into March, going into postseason play is everything's kind of coming together. You're comfortable with where you are on the court. You're freshmen who, this is a younger Florida, roster, and so some of those freshmen, now you're sophomores. You've played a lot of minutes. The freshmen, for the most part, have played a lot in games, so they're confident on the floor. They've already seen Mississippi State, so they're coming in, and you have great players off the bench. You have Piatti who comes in and has been starting the entire season, so she has that confidence. And then you have Yitch coming in. She knocks down a big three. She plays with a lot of fire and intensity. And, you have all these players. Dukic comes in, knocks on, big threes when she comes in and plays hard. So I think it's the confidence together, knowing where people are going to be on the floor.
Oklahoma's really good. What do you see with them?
I mean, they're a team where I feel like in an SEC tournament, you've been in this environment before. When you play that first game, there are some benefits to it. You've already been in the arena. So I feel like if Florida can come out here early, knock down some big shots. I mean, they were with Oklahoma for 3/4 of the game at Oklahoma. So they have that confidence coming in saying, hey, we can play with them. We can beat this team. Yes, it's a very good Oklahoma team. You have, Beers inside. You have the freshman standout Chavez, who's a point guard averaging, just under 20 points per game. She can score, but Florida neutralized her some in that Oklahoma game, slowed her down. And I think if Florida can come in and they can, get Beers in some foul trouble, get some of these players in foul trouble early with the way the game was kind of called yesterday, there were a lot of fouls. So if Florida can attack the way that they do, they're going to get to the foul line, and they're going to also, by doing that, get Oklahoma's players in some foul trouble, and that makes Oklahoma have to play a little bit different because they're used to playing with certain players on the floor.
A few people have asked this, and look, bracketology changes game to game, right? And Florida, I think now is probably still on the outside looking in, but could a couple of wins here against an Oklahoma, et cetera, put them in the conversation?
I think absolutely. I think you come in and you had a big statement win against Mississippi State, who they had in one of the last four in. And so they're saying Mississippi State's in. Obviously, Florida put it on Mississippi State twice in a matter of probably 2.5, 3 weeks. And so obviously they're on a rise, and they've played a lot of top 10 programs close. They've been in every single game just down the stretch, weren't able to kind of close it out. And so, I think if you get a win here against the number 7 team in the nation, and you go on and you play against LSU, you're definitely in that conversation of, hey, this is a team that in the NCAA tournament could make a pretty good run. Is
Florida playing its best basketball now?
I think in the accumulation of the season, they're out there and they're with the confidence. If they step on the floor in the way that, Liv McGill is playing and leading the team, the way Miara is playing, I think right now is when you want to be playing some of your best basketball. And yesterday was a really good game when at one point I think they were up over 20 points in the game. And so with that confidence, I think they're playing some really good basketball right now, and that's what they need coming into this Oklahoma game.
Well, got one win yesterday. Why not another one today? Ryan Urquhart, Brittany Davis have the call in just a few minutes after Kentucky and Georgia. That's a very competitive game as well. Good luck to the Gators, and thank you, Britt, for doing this. Good to talk to you again.
Thanks for having me on. It was great to hear your voice.
Same here, Britt. Thank you.
All
Brittany Davis, I called her games and worked with her calling games. She's great. Does a really good job on the broadcast, too. I do think Florida's got a chance today. It's all about when you play somebody. And, Florida's playing, arguably, its best basketball now. So we'll see. International Diamond Center email, Daryl says, as David Bowie sang, it's the golden years. Ba-da-boom. But yeah, I like it. Do you think FAMU might be the best midweek team Florida's faced so far in baseball? I know FSU's coming next week. FAMU was not good coming into the game. But if you heard Kevin O'Sullivan last night talk to us in the postgame show, he has a lot of respect for what Jamie Shoup is doing, and he's doing it with next to nothing. But those guys came in and showed well. Florida, didn't have its best game, but that just goes to show you that on a given night in a sport, anything can happen. Florida got the win, but I would not say on paper that was, the best team Florida's played midweek. Todd says, great job everybody stepping up in Houck's absence. I've said since last year's team, when we play at a higher tempo, maybe one or two teams that can match with us man for a full 40 minutes. I feel during Arizona, Duke, and UConn, we were searching for backcourt roles and shooting and played more half-court offense. In your opinion for postseason, which two teams will be able to match us man-to-man in an up-tempo game for 40 minutes? I read that again, Todd, because you mentioned that yesterday. I just don't know. I've seen UConn play a couple times. I think Michigan can. They've impressed me when I've watched them. But, sometimes you try to create tempo. And then defensively, you try to create not tempo, if you will. So part of that is, who has its will, who asserts that in a game like that. BB, Question before NIL, say a good baseball player stayed at a school like Florida A&M, were they less likely to get a shot at MLB than players at the Power 5 schools? Sure. But I will say this. Take a look at the NFL, BB. Where did Walter Payton play? Where did Jerry Rice play? Right? Where did Doug Williams play? They'll find talent. I mean, obviously, you're going to get more notice because you play better competition, et cetera. But, I mean, if there's a player that plays, I'll just use FAMU for example, and that player, ends up being pretty good, guess what? Scouts will notice that. Monty, in Week 7 of this basketball season, here were the rankings. Arizona, Michigan, Duke, Iowa State, UConn, 24, Florida. Now in Week 18, Duke, Arizona, Michigan, UConn, Florida, Iowa State. Talk about Gator perseverance. Yeah, I mean, look, when you win, you move up. The postseason is going to be fascinating because now, with this run Florida's made, the fan expectation now is nuts. Nuts. Because of what they've done. And I get it, right? But that's what happens when you win, and that's what happens when you dominate people. And that's what Florida's done. Let's just be honest about it. Florida has dominated people. We'll take a break. We'll come back, we hope, to be talking to an NHRA driver today. They're roaring in this weekend at Gator Nationals, the 75th annual NHRA Gator Nationals, as you listen to Sports Scene on WRUF.
The NCAA tournament is coming to WRUF this March.
It's no fun being injured. The last thing you want to deal with is long wait times or high costs. Well, guess what? You don't have to thanks to Titan MRI and Imaging. The experience at Titan MRI and Imaging is much more personal than the sterile atmosphere of a hospital. Joe and his team are personally involved and will guide you through the entire process at any of their 3 convenient locations. And they accept insurance. So if you need a scan, save time and money and call Titan MRI and Imaging. Learn more at TitanMRI.com.
International Diamond Center's values are so compelling, it's not unusual to see people here that are not local.
Every day, we have people that drive an hour and a half, even 2 hours.
IDC owner Keith LeClaire.
People are willing to drive because they've heard it's not a typical jewelry store.
For example, did you know IDC has one of the largest selections of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in America?
You're going to want to come to IDC. It's worth the drive.
International Diamond Center in Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Every great team is built on a solid game plan, sharp execution, and total trust in the crew beside you. At Quality Plumbing, we bring that same championship mindset to every job we do. For over 40 years, we've been the starting lineup for homes and businesses across North Central Florida, delivering reliable service, expert craftsmanship, and big wins for our customers. Call us today or visit qualityplumbing.com. We're your first string team. License number CFC 043073.
Need a new AC and wondering who to call? I'm Kirk Smith, owner of Crystal Air and Water. Our team of professionals are strongly committed to responsiveness, problem resolution, customer satisfaction, and service excellence. We promise to meet the heating and cooling needs of your home with the most effective and energy-efficient products available. Maybe that's why we're the most liked AC company on Facebook. Follow us today. Crystal Air and Water, online at acpenguin.com.
License number CMC 1249384.
Yes, I'm calling Crystal Air and Water. Call Crystal.
Gator fans, get ready to raise a glass for a perfect cause. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is teaming up with UF Gymnastics head coach Jenny Rowland to bring you 2 brand new limited time drinks. Feel the heat with the fiery flip or stick the landing with the perfect 10 margarita. And here's the best part. $2 from every drink goes straight to support the Gator NIL Fund. Sip, support, and celebrate Gator greatness. But hurry, these signature drinks are only available for a limited time at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where Gators come to win.
There are plenty of realtors in town, but few work as hard, respond as quickly, or care as deeply as Doreen Wiebe of Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Community-driven and client-focused, Doreen will work with you to ensure your satisfaction. Whether you're buying or selling, she brings persistence, preparation, and heart to every deal. With Doreen, you're not just another transaction. You're a priority. Call 352-562-1411. That's 352-562-1411.
There's joy in every RV journey. Your journey starts at Central Florida's largest multi-dealer RV show. It's the Ocala RV Show, Thursday, March 5th through Sunday the 8th at the Ocala Horse Park, with hundreds of RVs on display with lifestyle booths. Adults $5, kids under 16 free. Thursday through Saturday from 9 to 5, Sunday 10 to 4. Seniors get $1 off Thursday. Military and first responders $1 off every day. The Ocala RV Show at the Ocala Horse Park. If it happens in Gator Nation, you hear it on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Welcome back to Sports Scene, coming to you live from the Gator Trim Light Studio, fueled by Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue, the best in late model, low mileage vehicles. Go see him today. When you do, make sure and tell them Sports Scene sent you. Back now to our Titan MRI imaging phone line. All of our guests, courtesy of Meldon Law. Matt Hagan joins us. NHRA Gator Nationals roaring into town this weekend. He is a 4-time world champion, and he joins us now. Matt, welcome. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show, guys.
I'm going to ask a question I ask all drivers, because if people don't know, how'd you get started in this whole thing?
Oh, man, kind of right place, right time. But I was 13 years old and went to a local drag, and honestly, I won about $150, and I didn't win the race, but I run it up on a four-wheeler of all things, and I was like, man, I can make money doing this. So I started. My dad has a car lot, and I started stealing cars off his used car lot and bringing them back with no transmissions left in them and different things like that. But finally ended up getting a race car, and got introduced to some local sponsors, and local guys introduced me to the corporate guys, and next thing you know, you're in the boardroom pitching yourself for millions of dollars to go out here and go racing. But it's been a wild ride, man. This is my 19th year in a fuel funny car, and it's been very, very blessed with a bunch of good guys around me. We've won 50-some races, 55 races, I think, and 4 championships, and just been so blessed to have such a great group of guys that have been working so hard to help make this thing come together in what it is today.
13 years old. That's amazing. Why did you choose funny car?
Well, it chose me. Actually, one of those things where I was driving a pro mod car for a while, and my local sponsor, or my corporate sponsor at the time, called me up and he said, this pro mod stuff is great, but I want to be in a funny car, and we're going to get more exposure, and it's going to be more publicity, more TV time, and all that kind of stuff. And I said, honestly, I don't know if I want to go that fast, and they said, well, if you don't, we'll find someone that will. And I said, I was 19 years old at the time, and the guy was going to give me $3 million. And I said, well, I'm going to take the $3 million and we'll figure it out, So,
yeah.
Like I said, it kind of chose me. So I was like, we'll figure it out as we go.
That was a good decision, Matt, taking that $3 million. I don't blame you for doing that, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gainesville Raceway has always been known as a fast track, and I mentioned this yesterday when Josh Hart was here. It's going to be warm. Does that affect time because of the warmer temperatures?
Yeah, everything affects everything, right? Like these crew chiefs deal with so many different variables. I mean, in my ear, there's so many guys that have got so much chatter going on, and they're looking at fuel flow and clutch, how much weight's on the clutch and air temperature on the tire and how much grip was on the track. And, obviously temperature does affect everything. Anytime it's cooler, it's tighter, it's overcast condition, the cars are going to run better, they're going to make more horsepower. But at the end of the day, the crew chief's job is to make that horsepower and utilize it to, apply it to the racetrack, and we do that with clutch application. And I think we have a great group that does a really good job of getting that power to the ground, making it stick, not smoking the tires very much, and putting on a great show for these fans. And I think that's what's really cool about NHRA drag racing is every ticket is a pit pass, right? Like, so if you buy your GA ticket, it gets you into the ropes, it gets you up there talking to all the drivers, it gets you seeing these guys that are wrenching on the cars. If you're a gearhead and you want to hear these air guns go off and these guys working and thrashing for 30 minutes, your general admission ticket gets you right there up close and personal doing that. And no other motorsport that I know of gets you to do that with that kind of access for that limited amount of money. So it's kind of one of those things where it's just a great bang for your buck. It's a family sport, and it's sensory overload, right? Like every time these two fuel cars leave the starting line, some seismologists came out. It's a 2.3 on the Richter scale. It's a small earthquake. So every organ in your body shakes. Everything vibrates. It's like, it was so funny. I was warming the car up the other day, and these guys that hadn't been there, they're behind my pit. And, these things, you can't hardly breathe because of the nitro. It takes your breath, right? And the guy looked over at the other guy. He's like, I didn't know these things ran on mace, So it was kind of funny. I was just cracking up, but it's just sensory overload, man. I tell you, it's a cool sport.
You're a 4-time world champion, and I imagine, there's rivalry within the sport, but is it a friendly rivalry?
Yeah, there's very few people out here that you wouldn't lend a tool or a part or a hand to. I mean, it's a small niche in the world out here. There's probably 30 or 40 drivers in the world, or in the country, or that you race against all the time. So, you truly do have rivalries. You do have guys that you want to beat. Me and Force battled it out for years, and I've run it up a couple times against him. I won championships against that camp over there, and it's always been a healthy camaraderie and rivalry that we've always gone back and forth. But there's always that respect, right? Like, you always still have respect for everyone out here, and that's something I think that's earned over time. You don't ever, no different than my guys. Trust is earned as well. I got to crawl in that car, and it's got to go 330 miles an hour, and they just knocked it apart and bolted it back together in 30 minutes. Most people can't get their oil change in 30 minutes. So it's like, these guys are putting the car back together, and then I got to crawl in there and trust them that they've done their job, that nothing's going to fall off the race car or hurt me or different things like that. So, respect and trust is definitely something that's earned out here in this sport. And, I wouldn't trade any of my guys for anybody out here. We got a great group. I'd love to sit here and tell you that, I've won 4 championships and 55 races, because of me, but it's been because of these core group of guys that I've been able to keep with me for over 15 years. The early mornings, the late nights, the blood, sweat, tears, just the dedication, the motivation, and the hard work that they put in to make this thing happen, and I think that you get to see that at the ropes when you buy a ticket and you come out there and you get to, really mix it up with these guys that are gearheads and mechanics, and get to talk to the drivers and all the other stuff that's going on. It's just the best bang for the buck going, I'm telling you.
I can remember my first foray at the Gator Nationals here. I'm old. Was Prudhomme and Shirley Muldowney and that group.
Oh, wow.
And I remember when the 300 barrier was broken, and I thought that's just crazy. And now you're talking going 330 plus. Is there a ceiling here, or do you think those speeds will keep going up?
Well, my boss, Tony Stewart, he ripped off 340 yesterday, and he was like, man, that was cool, So, those dragsters are digging. I think Langdon went 345 the other day in testing unofficially, but it just, the sky's the limit. But honestly, they've really got our rules held down to where, if these crew chiefs were allowed to do whatever they wanted to, it would be crazy, But it's just they don't want us to run much faster. 300 is the magic number. As long as we're hitting over that, it still looks really cool on the scoreboard. But they with the tire and everything else and the shutdown and all that kind of stuff. You got to think about. That's why we went from a quarter mile to 1,000 feet, because we don't have the shutdown. Like, these tracks were built back when cars were trying to run 300 or 200 miles an hour back then, and the shutdown's still the same. So we're having to have our parachutes hit harder. You got to worry about your retinas detaching. There's just so much stuff that people don't even think about that that now that we're running this fast, that getting these cars, trying to get them stopped. It takes a half a mile of shutdown to get these things stopped from being able to run 1,000 feet.
Well, let's hope the weather cooperates. A lot of fans will be out there. Matt, appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for doing it.
Hey, thanks for having us. We'll see you guys out there.
You got it. Matt Hagan. He has won 55 career races, 4-time world champion. Don't forget, we're going to get you out to the SEC women's basketball tournament. Florida's playing Oklahoma as soon as Kentucky, Georgia is over there, the first day today. But we're going to end today talking more men's college basketball with a great friend of the show, Mike DeCourcy for the Sporting News joins us. Mike, always a pleasure. Boy, Florida has just turned it on here recently, and, Gator fans are obviously very geeked. What do you see now with this team? Are they the favorites maybe going into the tournament? Where would you put Florida now?
Well, I don't think I would put them as the favorite, but I would certainly put them among the favorites. And I mean, I don't know what Vegas is saying, but I have a feeling that probably Florida's odds are coming in fourth or so among the favorites. Duke and Michigan and Arizona have been successful throughout the year, and none, with the exception of Michigan losing an essential reserve point guard to injury, L.J. Kaysen. All of the teams, all of those three teams have continued to ascend. There hasn't been any stagnation. They're continuing to improve. Whereas Florida, it started rocky, and now they've just been on a straight path upward. And so I think that the fact that the other teams have shown that stability through the year will still favor them odds maker wise and bracket pool wise. But certainly, if you're a Gators fan, you have every reason to believe you can win this thing.
UConn has been interesting. They've won, but they've not. They've had some issues, if you will. Where do you see UConn right now?
Well, I think UConn is outstanding. One of the things that's been problematic for them, as it was the case with Xavier Lee, transitioning from the Ivy League to SEC and SEC adjacent type teams. The non-conference schedule was like basically playing the SEC before you played the SEC, maybe even better. And it took Xavier a while. For UConn, it's Braylon Mullins, their key wing, who's a freshman, who's a tremendous talent, and who has been injured, has missed 7 games at various points in the season. There was a point in November, December, and then a little bit in January as well. And so connecting him to the rest of the guys has been a challenge, and getting him up to Division I speed is a challenge, of course. And so getting that all together to be exactly the right package has taken some time. Florida's growth has been on a little bit more of a straight line forward, whereas UConn's has had those bumps because of the injuries to Mullins. But they have managed to win games, even though they haven't played brilliantly. And it's going to be very interesting over the next 10 days or so which team winds up with that fourth number 1 seed. As it stands now, I would probably still favor UConn, but I would definitely, without a question, as it stands now, put them both in the same region, make one the 1 and one the 2. And after all, the region that's up for grabs goes south, so Florida should be in the south anyway. Not necessarily keeping Houston in Houston just because you can, but put Florida there because they've earned it.
Let me ask you about a couple of teams that have played well. One of them is Michigan State. They just have trouble scoring, Mike, but they play great defense. Where do you see the Spartans?
Yeah, it really comes down to that day whether they can find someone to make shots. Young freshman Scott has days. Kurt Tang has days. Jackson Kohler, who's a regular starter and a key member of their front court, is pretty consistent. I mean, every shooter has off days, but he's pretty consistent. But the two young, Jordan Scott and Kurt Tang, have been okay today, maybe not the next 2, and then, maybe 3 in a row, good. But then, and it's just hard to win like that when you are always having to search for who might be able to drop a shot. But it's also, as you said, hard to play against them because they have 2 bigs who both can block shots, who do a great job of jamming the lane, making it hard for you to operate. And they have a tremendous point guard in Jeremy Fears, who runs the show beautifully and leads the nation in assists.
Mike DeCourcy joining us here from the Sporting News, talking men's college basketball. A team that intrigues me, Mike, is Kansas, because they have a great player that is in and out. But let's assume for the moment that player brings his A game. Where does that put Kansas?
Well, if he is playing his A game, Kansas is as hard to beat as anybody in the country, with the exception of the 5 we talked about.
Okay.
And maybe even harder to beat than UConn is, because Peterson is that talented. We have a feature running on Big Time Hoops on Fox this Sunday about him, and I was taping my piece for it last night, and I was watching the tape that we show, And you got to tune in just to see the tape. It's unbelievable the things he can do. And if he does those in 5 or 6 games in March, they could be hanging around Indianapolis on the final weekend. He's that gifted, and he started to play minutes. He's been 30 minutes plus in each of the last 4 games, and those 4 games all followed the challenge from Bill Self to redirect the narrative to he finishes games. There were so many games earlier in the season where, for instance, in the TCU game at home, he was inserted late after missing some of the second half with his cramping issues. Inserted late, draws a foul from 3, makes 3 free throws, forces overtime, and then sits down and watches the whole OT. And that doesn't. They played at Oklahoma State. I know they played Oak State. It might not have been but they played Oak State. He scored 18 in the first half, played a little bit in the second, and then felt something and sat down and didn't play again. And those things are really hard for a team to overcome because he's such a different player, and you just don't have anyone like him on your team. And so when he's gone, you have to relearn how to play. You have to have a totally different formula. And the fact that he's now playing 30-plus, even though they've lost 3 of the 4 he's done that in, you can believe that they are making progress toward being a functional team with him as part of the group. Now, that may they only have 1 more regular season game, and then are only guaranteed 2 games after that. So they have to get that going in the right direction soon.
Last thing, you've talked Duke, Michigan, Arizona, UConn, Florida, all that. Is there a sleeper team that Houston comes to mind for me, that maybe it would be a 3-4 seed or lower that if they got the right draw, could make a little noise?
Yeah, I think since you mentioned Houston, I will add to that by saying their offense has to get right.
Yes.
Defensively, rebounding, they're not quite as good as they were a year ago, but they're still good enough to win. But the offense hasn't been right. Kingston Flemings is still doing what he does. He's a tremendous freshman, great talent. But Emmanuel Sharp has not been making shots in general over the last several weeks, and it's cost them in big games. And Milo Zuzan has kind of sort of lost his way since they gave the ball to Kingston, or Kingston earned the ball, so to speak. Since they put Milos off the ball, he's not really been able to find the role that he needs to play. Guy needs to he needs to do 2 things. 1, make open shots, and 2, hit the lane and either create for himself or others when the ball's in his hands and the clock's going down. If he does those 2 things, they become a dramatically better team. But neither he nor Emmanuel have played anywhere near the level that they need to play in order for I had Houston number 1 in the preseason. I thought they could be good enough to win it. And the funny thing is that I had no idea how good Flemings was, and although I knew how talented Chris Sinak was, I didn't think he'd make this much progress. But the other guys have declined a little bit, and that's cost them.
Yeah, no doubt. Where can people see your work?
Yeah, I mentioned Big Time Hoops. That's our final episode of the season on Sunday on Fox. It leads into some of the game action that we have on Fox on Sunday. I'll be on the Big Ten Network on Sunday also. I may actually technically be on 2 networks at once. That's kind of weird. I'm not sure about the timing on that, but I might be. And then at Sporting News, at TSN Mike on Twitter and the sportingnews.com, you can find all my written work. Although right now I'm mostly banking stuff because we've got our awards coming out early next week. All-America, Coach of the Year, Player of the Year will be released next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. Always a pleasure to have you, Mike. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Steve.
You got it. Mike DeCourcy does a great job. Kentucky and Georgia at the SEC Women's Tournament were very close, but Kentucky in the last 2 minutes has pulled away. They have a 12-point lead with 3:39 to go. Of course, when that game is over, Florida plays Oklahoma. We'll bring you that game live. We'll take a break, and we will come back This hour brought to you by Florida Legends event. 3 Heismans, 2 events, 1 legendary day. You can join Steve Spurrier, Danny Warfel, and Tim Tebow for the Legends Gala at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in the Alachua County Sports Center Monday, March 30th. You can get your tickets or find out more info at www.fllegends.com. We'll open the phone lines, phone and the email too, as you listen to Sports Scene on WRUF.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Morgan Ruskowski. Florida women's basketball moves on to the second round of the SEC tournament. The Gators play against 5th seed Oklahoma after winning 86-68 against Mississippi State last night. Coverage starts at 1:10 on WRUF. Florida baseball slithered past the Florida A&M Rattlers to secure another victory. The Gators won 7-5 and now have the longest active win streak in the country with 13 games. Shortstop Sam Miller credits his freshman teammates to their win.
I think it's pretty impressive, because it's a freshman year in there and you're a little nervous, but the freshmen that we're playing, they take deep breath, they're calm, nothing's fazing them. It's pretty impressive what they've been doing so far.
The Gators play next tomorrow with coverage starting at 6:25 on WRUF. Florida women's tennis faces off against number 4 LSU tonight.
To help hydrate, the nutrition you need to power on. Champion your recovery with Core Power.
Davis Gainesville Chevrolet is now Davis Gainesville Chevrolet GMC.
That's right, Coach. The all-new Davis Gainesville Chevrolet GMC is an unbeatable team. New Chevy Silverado or GMC Sierra, your choice, just $279 a month. Plus, nobody will pay you more for your trade than we will. At the all-new Gainesville Chevrolet and Gainesville GMC.
See you soon at GainesvilleChevyGMC.com.
24-month leases, 85-21 due at signing. No security deposit. Subject to lender approval. May include loyalty. Offers don't combine. Expires month end. Together, let's drive.
Are you ready to raise your game when it comes to your Gators gear? Head over to Alma Mater in Gainesville. You'll find just what you need to rep your team in style. From one-of-a-kind Gator tees and hats to NIL gear, they've got the perfect Gator swag for every fan in all kinds of weather. Whether it's game day or any day, you'll be winning with officially licensed apparel found nowhere else. Locally owned, locally produced. Alma Mater, in-store at the corner of 34th and University or online at almamaterdesign.com.
Concrete is tough, long-lasting, durable, and when it's done right, it's the foundation of everything that stands strong. At Silverback Concrete, we don't just pour concrete, we build trust one slab at a time. We're a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists who sweat every detail, from footers to elevated decks. We respect your budget, we build to last, and we care about the people on the job today and those who will walk these floors tomorrow. You stand on it, we stand by it. Silverback Concrete, we've got your back. Visit silverbackconcrete.co to get started.
For more than 50 years of quality service, Archer Electric Service Company has been Gainesville's choice for residential and commercial electrical work. Whether you need wiring, repairs, or backup generator installation, we treat every client like family with professional, clean, dependable service. Don't wait for the storm or the flicker to remind you. Visit ArcherElectricService.com today for a free consultation and see why we've been Gainesville and the surrounding area's most trusted electricians for decades.
Think your season's over? Let's turn your off season back on.
Hoops is heating up on Hard Rock Bet, Florida's only legal way to bet the NBA. So you can bet on teams, star players, and more. With games practically every day, there's always something to parlay. Roll with Hard Rock Bet all NBA season. New users get paid double winnings on your first 10 bets.
Max bet of $50 per bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
Partly cloudy and very warm today, near record highs in the mid to upper 80s. There's a slight chance for an isolated late afternoon or early evening shower along and west of I-75, but those should be very few and far between. Starting out partly cloudy this evening, patchy fog developing overnight. Low temperatures mild for our Friday morning in the mid 60s. We'll make it to the mid to upper 80s again tomorrow afternoon. From the WUFT Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Megan Borowski.
You're listening to Sports Scene with Steve Russell, right here on WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Well, we have some Facebook Live questions courtesy of Ruse Ogre and YouTube questions courtesy of Campus USA Credit Union, but we're running out of time here. We'll save them for tomorrow. Don't forget tonight, final Gator Talk of the Year on WRUF right here at 7 o'clock, and players going to be on the show. Brendan Lawson from Gator Baseball, Jocelyn Erickson from Gator Softball, Matthew Kress from Gator Men's Golf, and Megan Propek from Gator Women's Golf, live from Miller's Ale House. It'll be tonight right here at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, Sports Scene comes to you. We're going to be talking with we hope, the baseball coach at High Point. That is Florida's next opponent in baseball for the weekend. Hopefully a Gator softball player on with us tomorrow. Gator softball opens up the SEC season with Missouri coming to town on Saturday. So all that is going to be coming your way. Thanks to Charlie for producing today. We appreciate all of you tuning in, and it is a pleasure to have you here on Sports Scene. A lot of good guests today, including Ron Slay from the SEC Network coming on here, and this week, a couple of NHRA drivers joining us as well. So it's been a lot of fun. That's going to do it for Sports Scene. AJ is getting you ready for the Gator Tip-Off Show, and then SEC Tournament, Women's Basketball Live. Florida takes on Oklahoma. I'm Steve Russell. See you tomorrow on WRUF.
This is Sean Kelly, voice of the Gators, and you're listening to the home of Gators basketball, right